Hi, welcome to Spec Hunter. Don't spend a single dollar on the Segway ZT3 Pro until you watch this. I've spent weeks digging into owner reviews, comparing real-world experiences, and going through countless Reddit threads and YouTube comments from people who actually ride this scooter every day. And what I found may surprise you. There's one critical weakness that Segway doesn't highlight in their marketing, and one unexpected strength that keeps riders picking this model even over scooters that cost twice as much. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly whether the ZT3 Pro is the right fit for you, or whether you should keep your money for something else. When you first see the Segway ZT3 Pro, the design instantly tells you it's not a toy. It feels solid, thick, and serious. The frame looks strong, and the welds are neat with no weak spots. When you ride over bumps, nothing rattles or feels loose. The deck is wide enough for 2 feet with extra space, so you don't feel cramped. The tall handlebars give you a commanding riding position that makes the scooter feel more like a small motorbike than a cheap rental. That first impression is important, because design and build quality often reveal whether a scooter is built for the long haul or just made to look good in photos. Power is where things start to get interesting. On paper, the ZT3 Pro has a 650-watt motor. That might not sound huge compared to some premium models, but in real-world use it feels much stronger than the numbers suggest. The motor peaks at 1,600 watts, and you feel that extra kick the moment you hit the throttle. The scooter launches quickly, with strong pull off the line that can actually catch new riders off guard if they're not ready. Unlike many mid-range scooters, it doesn't slow to a crawl when facing steep hills. Riders report confidently handling inclines up to 25% grade, which makes it a reliable option even in hilly cities. Top speed is set at 25 km per hour. That may sound modest, but the way it delivers speed feels quick and responsive. More importantly, it's steady. Many scooters at this price range lose steam on hills or struggle when carrying heavier riders, but the ZT3 Pro holds its performance well. That's why real owners often describe it as feeling stronger than the spec sheet would make you believe. Battery life is one of the most important factors for anyone who rides daily. Segway advertises up to 43 miles per charge. That's possible under perfect conditions with a lightweight rider, eco mode, and flat streets. But real-world numbers are always lower. Owners who ride in sport mode, deal with stop-and-go traffic, and way closer to average report closer to 30 to 35 miles per charge. And honestly, that's still impressive for this class. The fast charger also makes a difference. With a 3.9 amp unit, you can go from empty to full in about 4 hours. That means you can charge during lunch and be ready to ride again in the afternoon, instead of waiting overnight. For commuting or city use, this keeps the scooter practical. Suspension is another area where many scooters cut corners. Companies like to add a couple of springs and call it suspension, but that often does little to smooth out a ride. The ZT3 Pro takes a more serious approach. It uses telescopic front forks similar to what you'd find on small motorcycles, combined with a rear spring setup. The result is that city streets, potholes, curbs, and rough bike lanes don't shake you apart. It's not luxury car smooth, but it's a big step above the stiff and bouncy rides most budget scooters deliver. The tires add to that comfort and stability. They're large 11-inch tubeless tires, which give a more planted feel and absorb shocks better than smaller wheels. Because they're tubeless, they reduce the risk of sudden flats and make handling more forgiving. Even in wet conditions, grip stays solid, which helps riders feel confident leaning into turns. Handling doesn't feel twitchy or unstable, and that sense of control is one of the reasons riders trust it for daily commuting. Braking is just as important as speed and handling. The ZT3 Pro uses dual disc brakes combined with an electronic system. This setup delivers smooth, controlled stops without the sudden jerks or nose dives that can feel unsafe. Riders report that braking feels reliable even downhill or in wet conditions, which is exactly what you want when navigating busy streets or unpredictable traffic. Now let's move to smart features, an area where Segway usually tries to stand out. The ZT3 Pro comes with traction control and something Segway calls Segway Stability Tech. At first, these sound like marketing phrases, but they actually work in practice. Acceleration feels steady instead of jumpy, even when you hit the throttle hard. On wet roads or tight corners, the scooter stays balanced instead of sliding around. The water resistance rating is IPX5, which means you can ride in rain, through puddles, or mist without damaging the electronics. Just avoid full submersion and you're fine. Build quality overall feels strong. Nothing rattles loose or comes across as cheap plastic. The folding mechanism is stiff out of the box, but once locked, it stays firmly in place. That reliability matters because a folding failure mid-ride could be dangerous. The LCD display is clean and simple, showing speed, battery, and mode. Nothing flashy, but enough to keep track. The companion app expands the functionality with ride data, remote locking, firmware updates, and even theft tracking. A bonus feature is compatibility with Apple's Find My network, which gives peace of mind if you park in public areas. Other smart touches include cruise control, auto-on headlights, and a built-in alarm system. These may seem like small extras, but in daily use they add convenience. Cruise control reduces hand fatigue on long straight rides, automatic lights make night riding safer, and the alarm discourages casual theft attempts. Together, these features make the scooter feel modern without being overloaded with gimmicks. So far, the ZT3 Pro looks like a very balanced scooter. But how does it stack up against the GT3 Pro, Segway's higher-tier model? This is where the comparison gets interesting. The ZT3 Pro runs on a 650-watt motor with a 1,600-watt peak, while the GT3 steps up to a 2,400-watt peak. Both are capped at 25 km/h top speed, but the GT3 gets there faster and climbs steeper hills more easily. The stronger motor makes a difference for heavier riders or for those who regularly tackle long uphill stretches. Suspension is another area where the GT3 shines. While the ZT3 Pro's telescopic front and single rear spring handle rough city streets well, the GT3 adds hydraulic front suspension and a rear trailing arm. This delivers a noticeably smoother ride, especially on long trips or rugged terrain. Riders who spend hours on their scooter feel the difference immediately. Both models roll on 11-inch tubeless tires, but the GT3 adds self-sealing technology. That means if you pick up a nail or glass shard, the tire can seal itself instead of leaving you stranded. It's a small detail that only shows its value when you need it, but for many riders it's worth the peace of mind. Battery life is another major difference. The ZT3 Pro realistically delivers around 50 kilometers, while the GT3 can reach closer to 75 kilometers on a charge. That's thanks to the GT3's larger 899 watt-hour battery, compared to the ZT3 Pro's 597 watt-hours. For long-distance commuters, this difference matters. With the GT3, you can ride further without range anxiety, while the ZT3 Pro may start to feel limited if you push it hard daily. Weight is a factor that some buyers overlook until they face it in real life. The ZT3 Pro weighs about 29 kilograms. It's not light, but still manageable if you need to lift it occasionally. The GT3, however, is 39.5 kilograms. That extra 10 kilograms makes it much harder to carry upstairs or onto public transport. Portability is one area where the ZT3 has a clear advantage. Price is the final consideration. The ZT3 Pro retails around $999, while the GT3 costs about $1,699. For the extra money, you get better suspension, stronger acceleration, longer range, and self-sealing tires. But the question is whether those upgrades match your actual needs. Not every rider requires premium comfort or maximum power. Here's the bottom line. The ZT3 Pro is a scooter built for riders who want solid value without unnecessary extras. It offers enough power for hills, real-world range that covers most commutes, suspension that smooths out rough city streets, and smart features that add security and convenience. It's not the flashiest scooter, but it's dependable and well-balanced for the price. The GT3 Pro is the choice for riders who want more. More power, more comfort, more range, and more features. But it comes at a higher price and greater weight. For some, those upgrades are worth it. For others, the ZT3 Pro offers everything they actually need without overspending. So, how should you decide? Ask yourself 3 questions. First, how far do you ride daily? If you're regularly going beyond 30 miles, the GT3's larger battery will make life easier. Second, what terrain do you face? If your commute involves steep hills or rough ground, the GT3's power and suspension will pay off. Third, do you need to carry the scooter often? If yes, the ZT3's lighter weight is a clear win. For most riders who want a reliable, powerful, and practical scooter at a fair price, the ZT3 Pro is a great choice. It balances performance, comfort, and value in a way that few scooters under $1,000 manage. But if you demand premium specs and don't mind paying extra or carrying extra weight, the GT3 Pro may be the better fit. What matters most to you in a scooter? Is it range, power, or value? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to see how the ZT3 Pro compares with other scooters in the same price range, including some surprising alternatives that might save you even more money, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss my next breakdown. Thanks for watching Spec Hunter, and I'll see you in the next one.